Thank you, sir.
He's the most high-profile witness of the trial so far, and today Minneapolis Police Chief Medaria Arradondo did not mince words.
I absolutely agree that violates our policy.
Arradondo, the city's first black police chief, eviscerated Derek Chauvin, the officer he fired for kneeling on George Floyd's neck for about 9.5 minutes.
Once there was no longer any resistance, and clearly when Mr. Floyd was no longer responsive and even motionless, to continue to apply that level of force to a person proned out, handcuffed behind their back, that in no way, shape, or form is anything that is by policy, it is not part of our training, and it is certainly not part of our ethics or our values.
During that testimony, Chauvin took notes and only looked up briefly. Arradondo also revealed that he'd first gotten a call about the incident that night around 9 p.m. before Floyd had been pronounced dead. He told jurors he initially viewed this video from across the street and nothing jumped out at him. It wasn't until around midnight that a community member told him about the bystander cell phone video that soon went viral.
Thank you so much.
Arradondo had been blunt when we spoke with him last summer.
If you could look and be in the same room with Derek Chauvin, what would you say to him?
I would not be in the same room with him, and I refuse to mention his name.
Today's testimony was extremely rare.
I've been in and out of policing for over 40 years, and this is the first time in the history of my career that I've ever seen a chief that take the stand as a witness against one of his or her police officers.
Chauvin's defense team has argued that an angry crowd of bystanders distracted the officers and that Floyd died because of his drug use and underlying health conditions.
Would you agree that the use of force is not an attractive notion?
I would say that use of force is something that most officers would rather not use, yes.
Today, the ER doctor who pronounced Floyd dead told the jury that he believed Floyd died not from drugs, but from a lack of oxygen.
Is there another name for death by oxygen deficiency?
Asphyxia.
A crucial debate in this trial that both sides will keep arguing when the county medical examiner testifies, possibly later this week.
And Gabe, the defense also asked for new body camera video to be admitted into evidence. What's that about?
Yes, Lester, the defense wants jurors to see more of Chauvin's body camera video. The judge agreed to allow some, but not all, Lester.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.